14 years locked in a steel cage for a major attempted murder charge. While the streets whisper about the exact number of bodies attached to his name during the height of the Southside gang wars, the record shows Jarrell City Lil Mikey was a feared frontline shooter who helped build his faction's violent reputation. But the man who went away as a feared enforcer came home to a neighborhood that no longer played by his rules. He survived over a decade behind bars, only to be gunned down in broad daylight, shot 10 times, and stood over at a 63rd Street gas station. He was not killed by an ancient rival. He was executed in a brutal, calculated backdoor setup by the very people he thought he could trust. Today, we are tearing apart the digital footprint, the gang ties, and the ultimate betrayal of Jarrell City Lil Mikey to uncover exactly why one of Chicago's most notorious veterans was permanently silenced on the pavement he used to run. To comprehend the sheer magnitude of this assassination, you have to look at the ground Lil Mikey walked on. Jarrell City is not just a neighborhood, it is a historic blood-soaked alliance on the south side of Chicago. When Lil Mikey was active in the late 2000s and early 2010s, the territory stretching down 62nd and 63rd Streets was a fortress. It was a structured ecosystem of survival and warfare. Mikey was an enforcer in that era. He earned his stripes. He put in the work that gave Jarrell City its terrifying credibility. When the justice system swallowed him whole, handing down a 14-year sentence, Mikey was still a young man. He took his punishment, he kept his mouth shut. He did his time in maximum security facilities, surviving the brutal politics of the Illinois Department of Corrections. But the penal system is a vacuum. While Mikey was locked away, the world outside descended into chaos. The massive unified blocks of his youth splintered into fractured paranoid microsets. The older generations, the men who knew Mikey, who respected his sacrifices, who enforced the code, were either dead serving life sentences or had fled the city. A new generation took the reins. These were young teenagers armed with high-capacity firearms and illegally modified weapons. They were 5 years old when Mikey got locked up. To them, his name was just a piece of trivia. His legacy meant absolutely nothing. When Lil Mikey was finally released, he stepped back onto the concrete as a 29-year-old time traveler. The terrain was physically the same, but the rules had completely vanished. He tried to pivot. He started doing interviews. His very last activity on Facebook was an earnest promotion for an unreleased song, and people around him noted that his rapping was genuinely improving. He was trying to bridge the massive gap between his violent history and a productive future. But survival in modern Chicago requires total paranoia, and Mikey was moving with the confidence of the year 2010. He was navigating contested territory, seemingly unaware that the streets were actively plotting his demise. The signs of an impending catastrophe were there. 2 days before the shooting, Mikey was desperately trying to reach out. At 7 in the morning Chicago time, he picked up his phone and dialed the number of Billionaire Black, a prominent Chicago rapper who had deep historical ties to Mikey in the neighborhood. They had engaged in a public petty back and forth a few months prior, but the underlying loyalty remained intact. Billionaire Black was out of state, living 2 hours behind in Arizona. It was early. He was asleep. The calls went to voicemail. Mikey tried again the next day. Again, no answer. Following the murder, a devastated Billionaire Black took to the internet, plagued by survivor's guilt. He wrote, asking what Mikey was trying to tell him, agonizing over the missed calls 2 days in a row. Was Mikey asking for a plane ticket out of the city? Was he asking for advice? Or did he sense the walls closing in and the back door creeping open? That unanswered question would be buried with him. On the day of the murder, Lil Mikey was standing outside the mobile gas station near the intersection of 63rd and Drexel. This specific block is a highly contested borderland right in the territory of TYMB. It holds a dark recent history. It was the exact same gas station where his close affiliate had been gunned down the previous summer. It was hostile ground, yet Mikey was there and he was not hiding. According to chilling first-hand accounts from witnesses at the scene, what unfolded was not a random drive-by shooting. It was not a faceless ambush from a passing car. It was an argument. Mikey was engaged in a heated face-to-face dispute with someone on the concrete. This implies a level of familiarity. You do not argue with a masked assassin. You argue with someone you know, someone you feel comfortable raising your voice against. In the old days, an argument might end in a fist fight, but this was the modern era. In a moment of supreme misjudgment, the witness stated that Lil Mikey pump faked. He reached aggressively toward his waist or his vehicle, bluffing as if he was about to draw a weapon to intimidate the man he was arguing with. The other man did not bluff. He drew a firearm and unleashed a devastating barrage at point-blank range. The gunfire echoed rapidly across 63rd Street, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10 shots. Lil Mikey collapsed onto the pavement. The shooter did not immediately run. In a final merciless act of disrespect and execution, he stood directly over the 29-year-old veteran to ensure the job was finished before fleeing the scene in a white vehicle. Chaos erupted on 62nd and Drexel. Paramedics rushed to the blood-stained concrete. For 10 agonizing minutes, they performed chest compressions, fighting desperately to restart his heart as bystanders filmed the tragedy. A highly respected older man from the neighborhood walked up to the yellow police tape, openly weeping, shouting that they had just killed his boy. Lil Mikey was rushed to the hospital, but the damage was catastrophic. He was pronounced dead, ending a life that had survived 14 years of incarceration, only to be extinguished in minutes on his own block. Before the yellow crime scene tape was even taken down, the internet began to feast. The disrespect was instantaneous, revealing the vulture culture of modern gang warfare, where bodies are currency for online clout. Old block members immediately flooded social media with diss posts, weaponizing Mikey's death to mock the Horror City Alliance. They cruelly brought up past trauma, specifically taunting Jarrow City over the double murder of Front Street members Rusky and G Thang, treating the loss of human life like a scoreboard. The mockery did not stop there. A member of the 800 faction, known as Abo, took the opportunity to publicly taunt FBG Young of the STL Alliance. Abo wrote a scathing message directly aimed at him, stating that Young had lied in his songs about making the 800 set change their gang. Abo relentlessly mocked him for getting messed up, writing that it was getting pathetic. He taunted FBG Young, saying he was worried about them now that this was the third person they still had not done anything for, throwing the hashtag #SlideForDarkside in their faces. The internet gangsters were loud, eagerly claiming credit for a body they had absolutely nothing to do with. This blatant false claiming prompted Rake from Taekwon World to step in and set the record straight. Disgusted by the online posturing, Rake fired back at the opposing factions. He called them out as goofies claiming things they did not do, labeling them internet gangsters. He reminded them of their own recent failures, pointing out that one of them had just been shot with their own gun, telling him to get well soon and reminding the opposition that they still had not retaliated for the loss of Ty. But amidst the chaotic noise of rival gangs throwing internet insults, a far more sinister truth began to leak out. This was not the work of O Block. This was not the work of 800. And despite a popular Reddit thread suggesting that a member from MOB was the killer, the streets were whispering a different devastating word: backdoor.
Shit, Young just called me. You trying to call me the other day.
You say what? Man, what's all that tough shit you talking about?
Man, come on, Mikey. That's what
crack red. No, ain't none of that. I ain't gonna shoot you. On crack, I ain't gonna shoot you. I can kill you right now. On crack, I can kill you right now. I ain't gonna shoot you though. I'm that down. We can shoot the one. We can do whatever you wanna do.
Man, you know my head.
I'm fucked up too. I'm shot too. On crack, I'm shot too.
Nah, I still got plates and all that in my shit.
I know, like, well, if I slap you right now, you want though, right?
Nah. How you gonna, bro?
You say what? Speak up.
Can I talk?
Nah, you was just talking all that on Facebook. You was just,
man.
I put the gun down on crack. I ain't got no gun. My homie. Like, what's all that though?
I didn't really record, bro. I was on the same time
You said you said some tough shit.
A backdoor is the ultimate betrayal. It means the enemy did not kill you. Your own circle did. It is a setup from within the perimeter of trust. The rumors quickly zeroed in on a chilling sequence of social media posts. A figure known as Wick063 had been brazenly posting on his story, admitting that he had set a backdoor for a Bloodhound member named Baby Top. The timeline of these posts was absolutely damning. The screen recordings proved that Wick posted this right around the time Lil Mikey was killed, before the death had even been publicly announced by the police or the news outlets. Furthermore, Wick reposted a story from Baby Top, adding a cryptic and horrifying caption, BDG 1, in the ruthless language of the streets. BDG stands for Backdoor Gang. The number 1 signified that Jarrow City Lil Mikey was Baby Top's very first backdoor victim. Baby Top himself then took to the internet, blatantly dissing a man who had just been left bleeding on 63rd Street. While Jarrow City members began posting subliminal messages telling people from OTV, O Block, and TYMB to stop false claiming the murder, the silence surrounding Baby Top and Son Wick was deafening. No one was denying the internal setup. The pieces of the puzzle pointed directly to an execution orchestrated by the very people Mikey might have trusted, or at least felt comfortable arguing with in broad daylight. Jarrow City Lil Mikey survived a 14-year sentence in the belly of the beast. He maintained his loyalty to a neighborhood that ultimately devoured him. He came home, he picked up a microphone, he tried to feed his people, and he tried to navigate a city that had become completely unrecognizable. He was 29 years old. In the end, it was not an ancient rivalry that took his life. It was the treacherous, unforgiving nature of a culture that rewards betrayal with clout. The ghost of Lil Mikey now haunts the corner of 63rd and Drexel. A permanent tragic reminder that in the streets of Chicago, the streets do not possess a memory, they do not possess a heart, and your deadliest enemy is often the one standing right beside you,